So today, like I said, we're going to talk about how to maximize your lead flow through pay-per-click and Google AdWords. This is one of the most effective ways to generate leads for your roofing business. It allows you to really get granular and target the type of searcher that you're really trying, that brings in that perfect customer for you, right? And so in that, this is part, if you're not familiar with our digital dominance method webinar series that goes on through the years, where we focus on SEO, we focus on Google My Business listing, all of the opportunities to generate a lead for your roofing business, right? Pay-per-click advertising, conversion rate optimization, all of these things, reputation management, Google local service ads. So we have a long series of these webinars, one every month on a different specific topic. So this month's webinar is on Google AdWords and Google Ads. You can see it's number 2 on our list here in the digital dominance method. And that's because, it really is one of the most effective ways to generate a lead for your roofing business, right? And, SEO is kind of the foundation that we build everything off of. You can see we have that as number 1 here, but Google AdWords is really that kind of it's the glue. It really helps you to hit your revenue goals in a very effective way. So we're going to go into that, in great detail today. So first, need your attention, please. I'll do the same here. I'll turn my phone on do not disturb, but turn off your cell phones, throw them on do not disturb. If you're on Facebook or something like that, jump off of that. Really pay attention. If you're serious about really doubling or tripling your return on investment from your pay-per-click advertising, or to really learn how to really effectively generate leads for your roofing company through Google Ads, then the next 60 minutes are going to be critical for you. So let me hit do not disturb on my phone, and I want to make sure that I give you guys my full attention also. So what we're going to cover today is why pay-per-click is the key to unlimited scalability in terms of lead flow for your roofing business, right? Google's algorithm works in a very distinct manner for search engine optimization, right? For SEO and for Google local service ads have their own kind of unique way of being shown. But pay-per-click really allows you unlimited scalability in terms of location-wise, keywords that you're focusing on. And so we'll go through some live examples of pay-per-click campaigns that are generating great return on investments for other roofing companies, how to set up and structure your pay-per-click marketing campaigns for minimum cost per lead and maximum ROI. And then we're going to talk about KPIs, key performance indicators, how to track and how to really track your lead flow and where it's coming from and where your real return on investment is coming from. We're going to talk about landing pages and their importance, and also campaign structure. So got a little special gift. If you stay to the end, we're gonna provide you guys with our master negative keyword list. This is what we actually use, what our pay-per-click team uses when they're building out a campaign when we build out a campaign for a new client. So this is our actual document. We'll get you that access to that. If you stay till the end, that's our free gift for you. And so why should you, if you don't know us, I know looking at the participant list here, I know a lot of you, do know us and have been on some of these webinars before. But for those of you who don't know us, my name is Jim Aline. I'm the co-author of Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing website into an online lead generation machine. With my business partner, Brian Niebler, we started Roofer Marketers, and we are the co-authors of that book. We're active members of the NRCA. I'm the host of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you haven't listened in on that, go to any of the streaming platforms, go over to YouTube. You can watch the videos there. And we only work with roofing contractors, right? We are a digital marketing agency for roofing contractors specifically. So we do this, all day, every day. Pay-per-click management, SEO, Google local service ads, retargeting, remarketing, right? Facebook advertising for the roofing industry. So this is what we do on a day-to-day basis. So So the first thing I want to ask you guys is if you think pay-per-click should be part of your overall internet marketing strategy. So if you could just drop a little, like a 1 or a yes in the chat. Do you guys think that pay-per-click can be an effective, aspect to your internet marketing strategy? We got a 1, we got a yes, we got a yes. How many people on here? Jason Holden says unlikely. So we'll see what that looks like, Jason. We'll see what, if we can show you the effective ways to really, optimize those campaigns to make them work for your company. Is anyone who's actually doing pay-per-click for their marketing? If you drop PPC in the chat, if you guys are currently using pay-per-click marketing or actively doing pay-per-click marketing for your roofing company. So Jason's doing pay-per-click. So you guys are doing pay-per-click, but you don't think it's unlikely that it's effective, maybe. So you have doubts about that. Maybe hopefully this gives you some good insights, Jason, to how you can turn that around. Ross says that they're running PPC. Great, good job, guys. So for those of you not running pay-per-click advertising, pay-per-click advertising is a tough one, right? You really have to really structure your campaigns properly to optimize those results. And we'll go through a lot of this today. And like I said, this is part of our digital dominance method. Pay-per-click, we really have a philosophy here at Roofer Marketers that there's no one thing, right? There's no diet pills out there. There's no magic beans, right? There's no unicorns, right? We really believe that it's eating right and exercising. That's how you produce good results, right? Just like if you want to lose weight, if you eat right and exercise, if you do the right things, you will get the right results. If you're searching for, that magic solution, those are very far and few and far between, right? So I really want to impact you on that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So why should pay-per-click marketing be part of your internet marketing strategy? For those of you that aren't running pay-per-click marketing, really it allows you to start showing up in the search engine results page quickly, right? So I like to say a lot of times, and this is the truth of it, is that, Google will take your money anytime you're willing to give it to them, right? And that's the absolute truth. So Google will let you go in and set up an AdWords campaign or a Google Ads campaign and turn it, put a budget on there, put your credit card down, and they will start showing your ads, right? So you can show up as often as possible where your customers are looking, and this is where the power of Google Ads comes into play. Is really it's where your customers are looking and really what they're looking for. We can really measure the intent of the searcher, and it'll allow you to show up for some of the non-geo modified terms like roofer, roof and company, roof repair, roof replacement. The search term roofer by itself, just the word roofer, it's about 110,000 searches per month, right? But to show up for roofer in SEO, it's a lot more difficult. It's a very competitive keyword, right? But for pay-per-click advertising, that might, Google pay-per-click could allow you to do that without, like, roofer your city or state is what we mean by geo-modified there. So, and there's unlimited scalability to it, right? Because you can essentially turn this on and put it in any location that you want. You can add keywords and ad groups to your campaigns. That allows you to continuously scale this into all of the services that you provide and your service area and beyond. So it really provides scalability. Most roofing campaigns fail because of the fail to understand the complexity of the AdWords auction process, and especially for the roofing industry, right? Each industry has its own kind of ways that people search and ways that people buy. So there's a complexity in there. A lot of campaigns fail because they're only running like what we refer to as one ad group. We'll go into the structure of pay-per-click campaigns in Google Ads in a little bit. But a lot of people will just put everything into what's called an ad group, one ad group, and they'll run all of their ads to that instead of separating this out, right? When we separate it out, we can really focus on and target the people that are searching in a very specific way. And we'll go into that in more detail. They don't use text ads and landing pages for the groups of keywords. And what I mean by that is if somebody types in roof repair, then your ad copy, your text ad should talk about should have the phrase roof repair in it, right? And then your landing page that they go to, if they click on your ad, should talk about roof repair and the benefits and the fears of a person searching for roof repair. So that using specific ad text and landing pages for each group of keywords, right? If you're talking about metal roofing, then your ad should be metal roofing. Your landing page should talk about metal roofing. You should have imagery of metal roofing. So, another thing is that you don't have a strong call to action, right? When the goal of all of this is to get someone to call you, right? Especially if you're spending money, in the roofing industry, there's a high cost per click in a lot of the markets that we're in. And so, it could cost you, $100, $200 maybe to generate a lead for your roofing business. It could cost you $50 for someone to click on that ad. So you want to make sure that you have a compelling, strong offer on that landing page. Most campaign fail, the real, it's this big no-no, right? The real reason that most campaigns fail, and when you're setting them up by yourself, and I don't know, Jason, if this is something that you guys are doing, but if you're sending your ad traffic to the home page of your website, right? Not to specific landing pages, the home page of your website is not really designed specifically, or shouldn't be designed for the specific purpose of converting a lead into a call, a visitor into a call. It has that component to it, but it also should be structured to rank in SEO, right? To showcase the services that you provide, to showcase other things about your company. And so it's the homepage of your website is not a place to send paid ad traffic. So that's the thing that we see most when we're analyzing campaigns that companies are running that are a lot of times people are doing that. Jason says, our problem isn't the conversion rate or leads per dollar. It's the fact that our PPCs rarely close. Okay, so that's definitely a whole different situation there. So key takeaways here. What did you notice here? What do you think? What would you like me to make sure that I hit on? Of those main kind of the general kind of overview topics there. Just throw that in chat. The fact that those leads rarely close for you, Jason, that's a tough one, man. Is it, do you think that that maybe the people shopping for you are more of a discount kind of shopper, or what do you think? If you want to drop in chat, if you have any idea, maybe we could speak to that a little bit of why you might think that. I don't know if it's part of the sales process. If you're how often you're getting a hold of these people, the follow-up systems there, things like that. I'm not sure. So but we'll try to help you out as much as possible. So you don't want to go, too much into bragging or anything like that, but here's some pay-per-click case studies that we've done. This was BGM Restoration, generated 80 leads from pay-per-click at a $74 per lead, 29% conversion rate from click to phone call. And that led them to having about a conversion rate of about 30% on those leads booked. 80 leads booked, 24 jobs. Their average roof that they do in their area is about 73. Their average job is about $7,350. So about $176,000 in gross revenue. About a 29% ROI on ad spend there. Their ad spend was about $6,000 during that time frame. Industrial roofing contractors out in Philadelphia, they're more of a roof repair style company. 31 leads, $77 a lead. You know, if they have a conversion rate of 30%, you know, $28,000 in revenue on $2,300.95 in ad spend. Alabama discount roofers, 93 total leads, $37. They're in a much more rural area, right? So the cost per click is a lot lower out there. You know, 93 leads, conversion rate of 30%, 28 book jobs. Their average sale is about $4,680. So they generated about $131,000, about 37 times ad spend from their revenue. Prominent Construction here in Minneapolis, you know, 384 total leads in this time frame, $68 a lead, 38% conversion rate. There's a big factor in that conversion rate. We call it a landing page conversion rate. And that's where how many people click on your ad to actually make a phone call to your company. And this is 38% of the people that clicked on that ad actually called them. So 384 leads, 30% conversion rate, 115 jobs booked, 8145 is their average sale. So they generated nearly $1 million in gross revenue off of that $26,000 ad spend. So, you know, it really does work. It is a very competitive aspect to your digital marketing, but it does work. And if you structure and set up your campaigns properly, you will definitely see that. So I'll speak to Jason's point here. Jason put in chat here, his best guess is that they're engaging with people higher up in the funnel on PPC ads versus people who are looking for roofing companies on Angie's List and best pick reports and things like that. So what Jason is referring to is based around, essentially the way I like to explain it is around commercial intent, right? There's informational intent and commercial intent in the way that people search. And when there is more informational intent in the keywords that they're focusing on, that's higher, what we refer to as higher up in the funnel. When somebody types in best roofing company, city, state, best roofing company, Dallas, Texas, it's more likely that they're looking to make a phone call that day, right? They're looking for someone to call. So in your paid ad campaigns, it's really good to focus on those types of keywords. So we're going to talk about how to structure your pay-per-click campaigns, and this kind of ties into that commercial intent. This ties into that commercial intent. So when you're structuring your pay-per-click campaigns, the first thing you want to make sure is that you have your conversion tracking in place, right? Because you know, in a lot of markets, the cost per click in roofing is very high. So to not know what you're converting into a lead, it's very discouraging, right? If you don't have these things in place, you're really not understanding your return on ad spend. And that is the most important thing, right? In all digital marketing efforts, in all marketing efforts, marketing is an investment. It's not an expense, right? So your conversion tracking is a must on all of your digital marketing efforts, but specifically in pay-per-click, because you know you're really spending some money there. So your campaign must be broken into smaller ad groups targeting the various services that you provide so that your ads match with what the person typed. There's really the congruency between what someone typed in to Google and what your ad says and what your landing page says. Really, I want to make sure that you guys really understand that that is the most important factor in converting that lead into a phone call. And so another thing is you want to make sure that you have a strong understanding of keyword match types. And don't forget about negative keywords. Like I said, at the end of the presentation here, we'll be giving you our negative keyword list that we use internally. Negative keywords are the keywords that you don't want to show up for, right? And a lot of times that's more important than the actual keyword that you're showing up for. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. You need to write compelling text ads that resonate with the consumer and make them want to click on your ad, right? Versus the competition. So one of the big parts of that is having that congruency in what they cite, what they typed in to what your ad copy says. If they type in metal roofing companies near me, you don't put an ad up that talks about asphalt shingle, right? Why would they click on an ad about asphalt shingle when they typed in metal roofing? So you have to have that congruency and compelling ad text talking about how you are, kind of bragging about your company, the best metal roofing company in your city, state, things like that encourage them to click, maybe having special offers in your call outs and things like that, site extensions. You want to leverage your ad extension. That's a lead into that. You want to leverage your ad extensions to make your ad stand out on the page and take up more real estate on the page. You have to land visitors on a solid, well thought out landing page, right? A landing page is a web page built specifically to convert a visitor into a lead on a specific marketing campaign. Remember that specific marketing campaign, because each one of our ad groups, like I've been kind of telling you, it's a specific marketing campaign. If you're talking about roof repair, if somebody types in roof repair, you're bidding on a roof repair keyword and you're sending them to a roof repair landing page, you really want to make sure that you're speaking to the fears of the consumer in that roof repair, right? For a roof repair. You want to always be split testing, tweaking, and fine tuning, right? So we are always running different tests on all of our ad campaigns, in the ad copy, in the bid adjustments, in the landing page optimization, down to the words that we're using, the imagery that we're using. If we're using a drop down versus a button versus right. There's so many things that you could tweak and fine tune, and it's all through that testing process that you get to the best results. So don't even think about spending another penny until you have conversion tracking in place. So for those of you that are running pay-per-click, if you have, make sure that you, of course, you have your AdWords conversion goals tracking set up, but then you also have call tracking set up so that you know where the calls are coming from, and then integrating Google Analytics into that call tracking so you know what ad group or which search term that actual call came from, and tracking that down into your CRM, whether you use an AccuLinks or Job Nimbus or Job Progress or Jobber or whatever you're using as a CRM, bringing that and tracking that down to that granular level, and then bringing the actual revenue that's generated from those, kind of bringing that back in so you can best determine which keywords, which keyword phrases, which ad groups are actually performing the best and generating the best return on ad spend for you. So the conversion tracking is extremely important. So conversion tracking essentials. You want dynamic number swapping with different phone numbers for pay-per-click traffic versus organic or direct traffic. So if somebody comes to your website from an organic search, if they type in roofing companies in your city, state, and they get to your landing page, you want to have a different phone number, or like on your website, you want to have a different phone number than your actual phone number, because you want to track that correlation of where they came from. If they come directly to your website, maybe you just have your direct website because they're looking for your company specifically. But then in pay-per-click, you could have another phone number to track what leads come in from organic or from those ads, right? From a specific landing page. And then you could get even more granular and have different tracking numbers, maybe for each ad group. So now you have a phone number for your metal ad group. You have a phone number for repairs. You have a phone number for, your company, city, state, or for a specific location that you're targeting. So you can really get granular on where that is coming from. A keyword pool with dynamic number swapping, that's kind of what I was talking about in having specific phone numbers for each ad group. You can do that, and that keeps it extremely granular. You want to have your web form tracking in place. The web form tracking will allow you to really determine if it's a phone call versus a web form, and which ones are converting better? Are the forms converting versus the phone calls, right? I would assume the phone calls are converting better. In the web form tracking, we do what are called form reactors. So anytime a form is filled out, it actually generates a phone call to your business. So that's how we track ours in that way. Your conversion tracking needs to get built into your AdWords campaign to determine which ad group generated the lead. And then over time, through your tracking into your CRM and everything, you can determine which ad groups are performing the best from a return on investment standpoint. So oh, we have Brian Niebler in the house today. Looks like Brian joined us. That's awesome. Most important key performance indicators. Everything that you do kind of from a marketing perspective, or even on a sales perspective, you can do this in your production process. You can have KPIs in the way that you ask for reviews from your customers. There's a lot of key performance indicators. On a broad level, you want to be monitoring at least your total spend, your average cost per click, and your average cost per lead, right? In roofing, depending on the area, it can be as low as, $50, $65 a lead, $150 a lead, kind of on the higher side. And in some markets, you may get into the $200, $250 a lead areas, maybe a Dallas or a Denver or something like that. Or when a storm comes through and people start putting more money towards those campaigns. But the most important key performance indicators on from the AdWords side is first your average cost per click. You can optimize your cost per click by increasing kind of the quality of your ads and landing pages and making them more relevant. Your average cost per lead from your calls and your web forms, and then your return on investment, as we spoke about. Down into your CRM and down into that granular level. So it's best to have a dashboard. We provide our clients a dashboard like this. You can set one up yourself or find one that works for you. But here's just a kind of so you can kind of see it from a broad level, a broad overview on a regular basis. So you could see your number of leads, your total pay-per-click investment, your total cost per lead, your conversion rate. When I say conversion rate, I mean how many people clicked to made a phone call or filled out a form. Average cost per click, average click-through rate, how many clicks, how many impressions, things like that. So you really want to monitor the actual data, right? Be very wary of watching this on an ongoing basis. And if you could track the true ROI, it's even better. Like I said, if you can track that down into your CRM, down to the actual sale and the actual revenue that was generated and the actual profit that was generated, now you're really getting a clear picture of where your best dollars are spent. And that's in pay-per-click or in any of your marketing efforts. But like I said, especially in pay-per-click, because the cost per click can be high. So you want to really hone in on that. So now we're going to talk about how to structure your pay-per-click campaigns properly. Your campaign must be broken down into smaller ad groups targeting various services so that your text ads match what the user typed in. So Google Ads campaigns start with what is referred to as a campaign. Inside of a campaign are ad groups. Ad groups are kind of where you put together similar keywords, right? Inside of those ad groups are what I refer to are similar keywords. When you're structuring this properly, you could have different ads and different landing pages for each of these ad groups. So all of let's say you're in the DFW and you want to focus on running a keyword, an ad group around the location of Plano, right? Maybe you'll make a Plano ad group, and all of the keywords in there have a geo modifier of Plano, right? Roofing companies Plano, roofers Plano, things like that. And so then all of those keywords or search terms, you'll display specific ad text about that has Plano in the ad text. And then the landing page that they land on talks about how you're, one of the top roofers in Plano and and things like that. Imagery that looks like Plano, right? Not some house in California, on the ocean. Making sure that there's a congruency there. And so then you have different types of campaigns. So here's some examples of different types of campaigns. You might have branding, kind of general campaigns, general roofing campaigns, where you're bidding on roofing company, roofing contractor, roofing service, quotes, estimate, installation. Then you have other ad groups based around the roofing types, the roofing systems that you guys build, asphalt, shingle, metal, tile, cedar, flat roofs. And getting even more granular, you could do commercial, you could do TPO, EPDM, things like that. Residential roofing, commercial roofing, roof repair, roof replacement. So all of these types of things that you can focus ad groups around. Hail damage, storm damage, right? All of those are great things if you're in a storm restoration market. And then you want to have roof, like kind of modifiers, right? Local, near me, plus city, plus state, plus city and state. So this is another way to kind of structure your pay-per-click campaign for the best results. And what we're talking about here, we want to be capturing those people with commercial intent, right? Lower in the funnel, more ready to buy, looking for you to set that home visit. They want someone to come out and do an inspection or give them an estimate, right? That's the person that we want. We want them close to that stage. So this is kind of what it looks like inside of inside of an ads campaign. We'll have an asphalt, a commercial, general, hail damage, local, single keyword ad group. That's something, an ad group for Minneapolis, an ad group for residential roofing, roof replacement, roofer near me, roofing company, roofer. So breaking it down really into multiple ad groups. And because you can, right? You can really, the power of AdWords is that you can really get granular in what you're showing these people and what you're bidding on from a keyword perspective. So make sure that you're really taking the time to flush these out and build them out in a very specific way. If somebody types in roofing services near me, that's a different, let's match that ad copy to what they typed in instead of if they typed in versus if they typed in roofing company near me, right? That small correlation can give you some great results on the other side. So keyword types matter. So inside of these ad groups, we have keywords, we have search terms, and there are different types, different ways that you can ask Google to display or display your ad for these search terms. The first is broad match, right? Broad match allows Google the most leniency on what to show your ad for. The next is modified broad match. That kind of keeps it a little bit closer. You're saying, I want a little more, I don't want you to make as much of a decision, Google. Then you have phrase match. That's even more relevant, right? And I'll talk about these in a second here in a little bit more detail. And then you have exact match. And I don't want to spend too much time on the details, but in exact match, maybe you have roofers in Dallas, right? That means that your ad is only going to show up when somebody types in specifically roofers in Dallas, not Dallas roofers, not roofing companies Dallas, not any of that. It's roofers in Dallas, very specifically, right? That's exact match. Phrase match, maybe roofer in Dallas, roofers in Dallas, right? If with that same kind of concept, it doesn't have to be exactly roofers in Dallas, but it does have to be in this order. It could be something, anything could be on the front or back end of this. So maybe best roofers in Dallas, right? That would be a phrase match with roofers in Dallas. Maybe it's metal roofers in Dallas, right? That would be a good one. Top roofers in Dallas, roofers in Dallas, Minnesota, right? You would show up for, right? And maybe if you're in Dallas, Texas, you don't want to show up for that, right? So you got to be careful with your phrase match in that regard. And sometimes there's things on the front and back end that you don't want to show up for. Modified broad match is a little bit even more broader. It allows, maybe someone types in a roofer company, right? You would show up for that, right? Or roofing companies, right? Best roofing companies, Dallas. Like it gives Google a little bit more flexibility. Then we move to broad match, and broad match is what you really don't want to ever do, especially if you're not a real pay-per-click expert. As we move from exact match to phrase match to modified broad match and broad match, as we move in this order is where you need more negative keywords, right? We want to also, as you move to letting Google kind of show you for more things, you want to be telling them the things that you don't want to show up for. In broad match, if you put in roofer in broad match, you may show up for things like Red Roof Inn, right? You may show up for RV roof repair, right? Anything Google thinks might be related to the word roofer, right? That's what they'll show you for. So you got to be extremely careful to go down. Most of the time, you're probably going to be running, to be effective, you're going to be running exact match and phrase match with some good negative keywords for the phrase match, and then testing with modified broad match to see if you're missing anything, right? Letting Google kind of show you for a few ads and say, oh, I didn't think of that one, right? So that's a good way to use modified broad match. So pay attention to negative keywords, right? And like I said, from exact match to broad match, with exact match, you need less of a focus on negative keywords. With completely broad match, your whole entire focus needs to be on the negative keywords. So negative keywords to use are things like job, work. If your company is showing up online at all right now, and whether it's you're ranking in SEO, Google My Business listing, if you're running paid ads, if you're doing local service ads, you're getting crews calling you, asking if you have any work, right? So you want to make sure that on your paid ads, you're negative keywording all of those things out. Career, truck, car truck, in, right? For Red Roof Inn, supplies, stores. You don't want to show up as a roofing supply store when someone's just looking to buy a bundle of shingles, right? You don't want to show up for that. You don't want to pay for that click. Major cities and states, right? Like I said, Dallas, Minnesota, right? You want to make sure that you're negative keywording for cities, states, distributors. Questions like how, what, where, and why. Those are those things that are higher up in the funnel, right? That Jason had mentioned earlier. Some of those how, what, where's, and whys might be higher up in the funnel. Those people might not be ready to buy right now, or less likely to buy right now. So you don't want to target those things. You definitely want to negative keyword out your competitors' names. We find, there's a differing opinion here in bidding on your brand name and your competitors' brand names, right? There's a lot of pay-per-click experts out there and a lot of opinions on that, right? Just like you may like doing open valleys on your asphalt shingle roofs, or you might like doing closed valleys, right? There are benefits to each, or different opinions on each. But with competitors' names, if somebody's typing in a competitor's name specifically, we don't believe you should be bidding on that keyword, right? Because the likelihood of converting that person into an actual customer for your business, I mean, you're going to get people that are wondering when they're when they're going to come back and clean up, right? You're going to get a whole lot of stuff that doesn't that you don't want to show up for. So competitors' names are something that you want to make sure that you are negative keywording out. You need to write compelling ad text, like I said earlier, that resonates with what the customer typed in to entice them to click. Less is more, right? We want to leave something to the imagination, right? We want to make sure that that they have to come and get to that landing page. We want to tell them exactly what we want them to do, right? Click here for more information. All of these things, contact us here, get your free estimate, things like that. Um, so So if you have a special offer for the, for the service, if they've searched and reference that in the ad, all the better, right? So let's say maybe if you're running a specific dollar amount off, right? Or an upgrade to, an architectural shingle or, right? Like if all of these special things that you can be doing, you want to be running that in your ad text for that. You want to give them one decision: call or fill out this form, and push for it. Don't give them too many options. Like if they're coming to through an ad site about metal roofing, you don't want to say, hey, and if you want to check out how we do commercial roofing also, and check out how we do siding, and check out how we do windows, all of those things. Don't offer that stuff to them. You typed in best metal roofing company, Dallas, Texas. We gave you a landing page that's talking about metal roofing in Dallas, Texas. Call us now for your free estimate if you want to receive up to X amount of dollars off, or whatever your call to action is on that. So then we want to talk about the best performing text ads, right? So this is what I was talking about, having those offers, $1,500 off, new roof special, building out all of your call out extensions, having different things, 5-star reviews, why customers trust us, giving people the opportunity to really learn more and develop trust in your company. And there are multiple ad sections for you to steal, right? So it's not always about the search ad. There's another place here that a lot of companies don't utilize, and it's one of the most effective ads that you can run in Google AdWords. This is an ad essentially in the Maps section, in the Maps 3-pack. It turns the Maps 3-pack into a Maps 4-pack. And if you've ever heard any of my presentations on kind of how the breakdown occurs of where people click, about 35% of people that come through a search on Google will call a company here in this section. And because of that, running this ad is extremely effective. It's between 11 and 14% of people that click on ads in the actual ads section. So you really want to make sure that you're doing that. That is done through what's referred to as a location extension, right? So you want to make your ads pop with all of these different types of extensions: call out extensions, site link extensions, call extensions, location extensions. All of these will allow your ads to stand out above your competitors, right? And get that click, encourage that click. Having your call out extension or your phone number right there. Running your location extension is what allows you to show your ad to show in the map section. So extremely powerful way of doing things. So to set up your site extensions, it's in your Google AdWords campaigns. You go to view call extensions. Under ad extensions is where you set these up. So you have a lot of different options: site links, call outs, structured snippets, call extensions, message, location. So for you guys in the roofing, you want to make sure you're doing the location extension, right? The call extension is extremely important. Call out and site link extensions also are extremely important. Price is more for like, an e-commerce business, something like that, right? App extensions, review extensions. Some review extensions might be something that you'd be able to do, but those are some of the ideas there. So you have to have visitors land on a well thought out page that is built to convert, right? This is a landing page. And Alex dropped a message in chat here. What about the term cost and having a landing page that gives a per square price range? So cost is one of those things that is more of an informational type query, and has less commercial intent. So when there's an informational type query, it might be, what is the cost of an asphalt shingle roof, right? What is the cost of a metal roof? when people are asking about cost, they're more to what Jason was talking about. They're higher up in the funnel. They're probably not looking to buy today. What I like for you, Alex, in terms of cost and those pricing pages, I think those are better placed on your website for SEO purposes, right? To get those ranking in SEO. That's where you're going to get a much better return on investment on the effort spent there. Because, again, these people are higher up in the funnel. You're going to your conversion rate between click and phone call is going to be less in that regard. So I wouldn't spend too much. I wouldn't spend Google pay-per-click advertising on cost type of keywords. That's a little bit too broad, too much informational intent there. I hope that answers your question. You may want to, that may be something more for, some social media advertising, right? You might want to you could run things like that on Facebook, Instagram, and have a landing page, for that campaign. I would love to see that as a blog post, having a pricing page on your website where you break down all the different variations of pricing, whether you're doing asphalt shingle or, per square price ranges for, this product versus this product versus this product. All of those types of things are great and informational type queries, but they're higher up in the funnel. So you don't want to spend that cost per click, right? So hope that answers your question there, Alex. So having landing pages that are built to convert, right? Guarantee new roof on your house in 10 days, right? This is, this is a speed, right? Speed, people looking to, hey man, we got to get this done now. Get your free roof inspection, call now, meet with us and see why we're the Florida Panhandle's choice for roofing, right? Do you want to repair or replace your roof? Let's go. Let's look back at this a little bit more. This specific landing page would probably be built to, for people typing in general roofing terms, roofing company, searching from the Panhandle, right? That would be, a landing page that had a correlation, right, with that ad group. You want to be talking to the fears of the consumer. In any marketing that you're doing, you always want to be answering the fears of the consumer, right? And in the roofing industry, it's, warranties is a big fear of the consumer. If you're in a storm damage restoration market like this company, free insurance, paperwork assistance, how are we going to get through this process? Are you licensed, insured, all of those types of things. Do you offer financing? If you're in a more retail type of market, do you offer financing options? All of those things are great offers to put into your ads and onto your landing pages. So again, we talked about conversion tracking as a must. Your campaigns must be broken down into smaller ad groups, targeting various services specifically that you provide your text ads to match what the person typed in, and that you can send them to a specific landing page that has that, right? The strong understanding of keyword match types, right? So, and not forgetting about negative keywords. Don't forget about what you don't want to show up for, because that is sometimes more important, again, than what you do want to show up for. Writing compelling ad text that resonates, get that click, leverage the ad extensions, make sure your ads stand out on the page. And you have to get those visitors, get those people that click to a solid, well thought out landing page that encourages them to give you a call, right? The sales process in the roofing industry is, from that initial phone call or lead, the phone call, the home visit, and then, close the sale, right? So you want to get to that home visit. That's where you can really develop that trust with the homeowner for your company and get that opportunity to tell them why you're the company to go with. So I know a little bit of that was, might have been drinking from a fire hose for some people that haven't really gone through some of this before. But, if you guys could just take time, give me a little bit about, maybe a comment. What did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share about what we talked about there? drop that in the chat. If anyone has any direct specific questions or would like to get a hold of us, you know, and have us review your pay-per-click campaigns, things like that, direct message Nikki DeSantis in the chat, and she'll be happy to set up an appointment for you where we can talk to you a little bit more about that. She just dropped a hello in the chat. Thanks, Bill. Really thorough. Great job. Thanks, Bill. We really appreciate it. I know you guys do a great job over there, so thanks for the compliment. All right. Allows me to take a little break while I'm waiting for you guys' thoughts and questions to come in a little bit, right? It's, you know, it's fun though. I love doing this for you guys. I love being able to get this, you know, to get to here for you. So now let's move in a little bit. Alex is excited to implement some better landing pages. Awesome, man. That's the one. So my favorite metric, Alex, is that conversion rate between click and phone call, right? Or form submission, however you're structuring it, or click, call, or phone call. That's my favorite metric to measure, because that tells me that we're really doing a good job of giving the customer or the searcher what they're looking for, right? And in our company, here's a kind of a metric for you to measure those landing pages against. The way we look at it is we want to be up like on the bottom side, on the low end, on that conversion rate, on that landing page conversion rate. We want to be at 20% or higher, right? That's kind of our baseline, right? If we're above 20%, we know that things are that we're doing a good job of getting that person in there and converting them into a phone call. You start dropping below that 20% mark, something's off, right? There's something off, and it, you know, that's for us. And that's, you know, we've been able to develop that because we focus on roofing specifically, and we've done, you know, we've spent, you know, $1 million or so on ads for roofing, right? So on Google pay-per-click for roofing. So it's, you know, we've managed, I should say, not spent. We've managed all of that for Google AdWords and that conversion rate. But it's really cool to see when you really can dial some of these in and get up into like the 30-40% ranges. You know, some months we'll hit like a 50% range for a company, and it's like, that's where it's like, that's it right there, man. You know that you really just have that dialed in, right? The congruency between your landing pages and your ads is where that makes it, that really, you know, that's a fun thing to watch. So really, hopefully that gives you some good metrics to measure against. So if you are using a pay-per-click provider, you know, these are some of the questions that you want to ask them, right? How much of your budget will go to AdWords spend versus management fees? It may seem like a funny question, but there's a lot of like companies out there that have this strange model, right? Companies like Hibu, I think, where you just pay them X amount of dollars per month, and they determine what they spend on ads. So, you know, if you give them $1,000, and I'm making, just to make my math easy, you know, you don't know how much is going towards your ads and how much is going towards your management fee. And so they don't clearly define that. And that is something to really look out for, right? If you're allowing your provider to determine what is spent on your ads on a monthly basis, you know, and how much goes to their management fee, right? That's a big no-no. So make sure you're not going with any provider that is hiding that information from you. You want to know what kind of tracking is going to be in place, right? Do they analyze how many calls and web forms are converted, right? Do you always do that? Do they, you know, if they're not tracking down to a granular level, and the most important thing to you as a roofing business owner is that phone call, right? Initially, right? That's the first KPI for you, is that how many phone calls are we getting? So you want to make sure that you're monitoring that. If you don't have web and call tracking that pulls in AdWords, you'll be able to be at a major disadvantage, right? So all of the good call tracking systems, we use a system called Call Tracking Metrics. It will allow you to integrate your Google AdWords information in with your call tracking. So it'll pull the specific search term right into the call report, right in there. So you just know exactly where that call came from and how that went in, how that came together. So, and how do you delineate pay-per-click calls versus organic calls? So making sure that you have separate tracking numbers, right? Separate tracking numbers for your pay-per-click campaigns, separate tracking for your organic calls, separate tracking numbers for any Facebook ads and campaigns that you're running over there. Making sure that you really separate it out to know where the good leads are coming from. And tracking key performance indicators, right? What will that company, that pay-per-click provider management company, report back to you? Will they report their landing page conversion rate, right? I see it a lot. We were reviewing a company's a report that their pay-per-click company gave them, and they didn't break down the number of calls that they received. They had this weird metric of like, I can't remember what it was, like how many people reacted or responded or something like this. It was this weird metric that they were using. And I asked the owner of the company, I was like, hey man, where are these, are those actually phone calls? Cause that doesn't look right. There's 100, reported actions, right? But did you get 100 phone calls? Like, did you get 100 web form leads? What was that? And he was like, no, I don't understand what that is. So don't let these companies spin this into, something that looks better for them. Right. So will you be setting up specific landing pages for each ad group? Right. That is that's the basics and fundamentals of pay-per-click marketing, right? If that pay-per-click company is sending your ad traffic to the homepage of your website, that's the complete wrong thing to do, right? They are not doing their job, right? So make sure that they're setting up specific landing pages for each of these ad campaigns. And if they're not, that's not the right company to use. If you're driving traffic to the landing pages, how will those pages be optimized for conversions, right? Are they on an ongoing basis optimizing, right? Are they testing different things on those landing pages to see what works best, right? If they're not testing things on an ongoing basis, and they just kind of set it and forget it, right? You're not going to achieve the best results out of your pay-per-click campaigns. That's not the right company to go with. On the other side of it, do you split test your ads, right? So are you looking at what's working on your landing pages, and are you seeing what's working better on ads in your ad copy? Are you testing different offers, right? Those types of things will also get you over time to that best return on ad spend. So will you be leveraging all of the ad extensions to make my ads stand out, right? What are our targets in terms of cost per lead and return on investment? What do you think will happen when we put X amount of dollars into this, into the machine, right? Each of these are machines, right? Your pay-per-click advertising, it should be a return and a revenue generating machine for your business, right? And you want to make sure that it's tuned up and running efficiently. What makes our campaigns a bit different? We're always split testing campaigns across all of our clients. Because we only work with roofing clients, we're really able to dial things in and test it, not only for your company, but for from a company in a retail market versus a company in a storm damage restoration market, right? We can really get granular on targeting in our testing. We always set up conversion optimized landing pages. We set up true conversion optimization so that, like I said, that the calls and web form submissions are tracked, where they're coming from, which ad group they came from, which specific search phrase that call came from. And then with your help giving us the revenue data that you're collecting from the sold jobs on the other side, we can really learn how to, which ad groups are, which keyword phrases, which search terms are really converting the best for your company, right? You'll know exactly how many calls versus, pay-per-click versus organic versus Facebook, and you're able to listen to the recordings of those calls. You'll know which keywords within your AdWords campaigns drove the calls, what the cost was for that. This makes it possible for us to optimize based on the keywords that result in calls, stop wasting money on terms that don't net a result, right? We have found, in our testing, things that we, things that you didn't think, right? In optimizing for certain keywords. It's really interesting sometimes when you get these split tests and you go, I don't know if I think this one's going to outperform that one. Really? Wow, that one outperformed it. It's crazy. So for each ad group, we set up multiple text ads, rotate the ads based on the best converting ads, each month. So our click-through rates and quality scores improve over time. We also provide you with a KPI dashboard, help you track the most important metrics. And we have complete transparency in terms of your spend on your AdWords, right? Your spend is up to you. You determine your ad spend. So that's what we do specifically to, that separates us out. We almost create a mini site of landing pages, right? We don't just create one landing page. We have multiple landing pages for your campaigns based around the services you offer and the locations that we're targeting. We have separately configured landing pages for desktop and mobile. We use multi-step contact forms, which convert 300% higher than regular long forms. And so if you're not familiar with long forms versus standard forms, like if you go to a website and it's first name, last name, email address, phone number, what are you looking for? How many children do you have? What's your address? Are you willing to buy today? Like 75 questions of what you want to, what you're trying to collect information on. And people look at those forms and they go, yeah, I'm not filling that out, right? We use what are called long forms. We still get to ask the most important questions, but they're only asking one answer. They're only answering one question at a time. And that creates that higher conversion rate. Again, something that we've tested, over time. All of our forms are set up with automated call technology. So the second that someone puts in their phone number and clicks submit, a phone call is generated to your company. You answer the phone, it says press 1 to connect with a new web form lead. You press 1, it does an outbound dial to the number that they put in the form, and you're on the phone with these people within 20 seconds. If you let an internet lead sit for 5 minutes or longer, you will have an 80% less chance of ever getting a hold of them. That's not ever closing the deal. That's ever getting a hold of that person. So speed to contact is one of the most important things. Make sure you're answering your phone when these calls are coming in, and make sure you're responding to the form leads as quickly as possible. This is kind of an example of a pay-per-click dashboard, KPIs, leads again, total pay-per-click investment, cost per lead. That's that landing page conversion rate that I was talking about, clicks, impressions, click-through rates, total leads, average cost per click. So that's an example of our reporting that we do. If you're looking to kind of take your pay-per-click marketing to the next level, if you're looking for someone to manage this for you, we'd love to have a conversation with you. Message Nikki in the chat. Call us directly. Go to our website, roofermarketers.com. You can check us out there. I'd love to encourage you to join our Facebook group. It's called the Roofing Marketing Mastermind. If you're not part of it already, go to Facebook. Now it's time to go back to Facebook, right? We're almost to the end here. Go back to Facebook. Join the Roofing Marketing Mastermind group. Love to have you in there. Check out our podcast, the Roofing Success Podcast. I love to have great guests on there that really, people who have succeeded with their roofing business and like to share insights on what it really took, what's working, what's not working, what they're doing in their marketing, what they're doing on production day that separates them, what they're doing, post, in their long-term follow-up with people. All of these things are what we want to, focus on. So, feel free to get in touch with us if you're interested in that. you know, join all that. Here's what we promised you. Nikki, if you could drop that in the chat for everyone that stuck around, I really appreciate it. We still got a few people on there. It's roofermarketers.com/master-negative-list. If Nikki, if you could just drop that in the chat for everyone to get to. And this is our master negative keyword list. This is what we're talking about. These are the details that need to be focused on in your pay-per-click campaigns to make them effective, right? You definitely don't want Google showing you for the wrong search, right? The wrong search query. So we're definitely at, you know, we're at the end of our hour here. I appreciate everyone's time. Like I said, if you want to get a hold of us, feel free to you know, give us a phone call, you know, head to the website, you know, schedule a call with us. Love to help you out with all of this stuff. Or if you just have questions, you know, make sure that you follow along. We'll have another webinar next month in our series, in our series of webinars for the year. Hopefully get on there, and hopefully your summer is starting off well and roofing season is kicking off for you, and everything is going well. We'll talk to everyone soon. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop something in the chat. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. Brandon, Brian, Fabian, Maria, Renee, still got a few people on here with us. So Alex, man, thanks for interacting with me in the chat there. Amy, Ben, you know, thank you guys for showing up, and we really appreciate it. Really hope that this was helpful for you, and we'll talk to you soon.